babe. How are you? Doing all
I'm
right?
good. How are you? Thank you for having me.
No, thank you ever so much for joining me. I know you are crazy busy at the moment, no doubt.
It's a blessing. Oh my goodness. I wish everyone can say the same thing.
You know what? That's really lovely for you to say that because
It's like, oh, it's quite close. Let me pull back a little bit.
right back
I was
if you
like,
want.
I can still.
When I
Sorry.
first started doing these, I had it so formal. Like I had my chair and then I just thought I feel like it's better sometimes just having a nice chat. And so I was like, do you know what? I'm getting some pillows. I've got my Malibu and Coke, and I'm just gonna chill. So,
I didn't get the memo about the pillows. I can use one, but it's okay.
that's fine. Well, like I said, thank you so much for joining me, and we'll get on to all the show and all that kind of thing. So it's what's really lovely is when I'm finding out who I'm going to be talking to and whatnot, doing a bit of research and things like that, and finding out that you were born in Latvia, but you grew up in Siberia. Is that right?
Yeah, I know. They kind of, I like to say everyone's like, where are you from? Because no one can pinpoint anything. The
Yeah,
accent, the look,
yeah,
it's like, you don't look Russian. You don't look this. You don't look that. So
yeah.
it's kind of have to, yeah, but it's, yeah, I was born in Latvia, grew up in Siberia, and then came to the US when I
Yeah.
was 17, 18.
And that, well, that's
Yeah.
what I was going to say. You pretty much just packed up and went to the States. That must have been. I can't even imagine. Like the.
Well, it's I think it was a blessing not knowing what we were in for. We actually just went, Pasha and I, we were dancing together that time. So, and a friend called us, and we were doing so well in Moscow, in Russia at that time. So we were representing like this dance club or dance school, I would say, not a club. It was a school. but but yeah, he called us and he said that somebody was looking to represent a like a really nice couple with a great skills, talent. So basically represent their school in the US. And so we, our parents were like, all right, let's go. But it was only for 2 months, and then we ended up not seeing our family for about 2.5 years.
Wow, that's
I
that's
know.
because you obviously. How long did? Because I know you obviously went to the States, and then I read somewhere that, like, this might be completely wrong. You studied law, or you went to study law or something.
Yeah. Wow. Yes. Yes, I have. It's, yeah. So when so Pasha and I, we met when I was like, I think I was 13. He was about
Okay.
14 or 15.
Wow.
And we went to school together and we studied dance. And then when I decided to leave that studio, my parents were like, well, you have to go to college. I was like, I don't want to go to college.
I want
And
to dance.
no, actually, no, I know. I just wanted to be busy, but it was, not necessarily. And then I remember I said to myself, well, all I did was dance, but they forced me to do something else. So I just looked at the exams and I was like, I know this one, I know this one. And it
Yeah,
ended up being a law school. Who
yeah.
knew?
I think
Yeah.
that's the thing. A lot of people, a lot of performers. I always find it really interesting the amount of people like pop stars or musical theatre artists and dancers. You say to them, what did you do before? And they've been like hairdressers. They've worked in a shop. They've worked at local takeaway. And I was studying midwifery. I was training to be a lawyer. I was and I think that's the thing. You have to have some kind of um, a financial kind of income because with the auditions and the traveling and paying
Yeah.
your bills, you can't just live in dream world and hope that you know that it's just going
Yeah.
to pay for itself.
Well,
So
yeah, no, absolutely. That's how US was a turning point. It's not,
yeah,
it's, you're going in as a kid, and then something that you love and you grow up doing all of a sudden becomes your job.
yeah,
I mean, you're working basically,
yeah.
10 to 12 hours a day. You start teaching. We start teaching straight away. We didn't speak any English, but obviously we were still rolling
Yeah,
into that.
I was going to. So did you not speak the English? Could you do a little bit, or was it pretty much you had to learn?
Very basic, very basic. Just, here and there. Hi, bye.
Yeah,
Hi, bye, straight leg, maybe, or
yeah.
something. Yeah.
When am I getting paid? When am I getting paid the important things? Yeah.
Well, yeah. You were teaching. You really. I think the most beautiful part of the whole thing is, you know, it's you really were forced. You were forced to use your imagination. And I remember I was teaching and I didn't know how to say straighten your leg or straighten your back, and you know, you like push your chest forward. So I would remember I look in the mirror with my first student, and to this day we're friends on Facebook, and he goes, it was my favorite. He was really hunched over and I keep like hitting his back and it didn't work. The whole 45 minutes I keep hitting him on the back and it's just nothing's working. So remember I said, you, and he looks at me and I was like, yeah, and I go, Superman, and he and he just went, that was it. From that point on, he just went, oh, and his back was straight. And for the rest of the remaining 20 minutes, he never hunched over again. So I was like, okay. So it's a great story, but yeah, it definitely worked.
Yeah, I think with being like with teaching, there's obviously some people that respond better to the strictness, and other people need the walk around. So
yeah.
Obviously, I know you've done, you know, huge amounts of time. No doubt, the amount of different things you've done, but obviously highlighting the, you know, some main things you did. Did you then go into? Was it the So You Think You Can Dance? You went into. You saw an audition and then you went into. How did that happen?
Oh yeah, it was fate, I think, in a way. It's just all the tubes were closed, and I had to get across the city. So I was in a cab, and nothing was moving. And obviously, I was working, you know, 10, 12-hour days teaching. And I remember it's like the meter's ticking, but I'm not moving anywhere. So I was like, I'm getting out of here. So I literally slammed the door, walking really quick, and all of a sudden I saw this huge line in New York City, in Manhattan, as you would, and you're just walking, and it was in the middle of winter, so dancers like hip hoppers are literally warming up on the streets and doing the thing. And I'm normally not a very chatty person, and I was like, hey guys, what are you doing? And they basically said, oh, we're auditioning for this TV show, it's called So You Think You Can Dance. And I mean, at that time, I don't, you know, there were no, like, you know, I mean, YouTube was just starting out, you know, and it seems like I'm talking about 100 years ago, but pretty much with the technology, the way it's advanced.
Well, things are changing.
Let's put it this way: it was MySpace, okay? There was nothing else. So
MSN, Bebo, the day of that, it was brilliant.
Yeah, so it was that, and then yeah. So I remember I came to Pasha and I said, I really want to audition for the show, and he said, what's the show? I said, it's called So You Think You Can Dance. He's like, I know I can dance. So and the rest is history. So I said, I think you should audition with me. I think you will obviously dance together for a long time. Maybe you don't want to be on the show, but I think it's best if we go together. And we ended up coming in, and they closed the doors on us, and they said, are you crazy? You haven't been here since 4 a.m. It's 1,000 dancers in the room, and if you're lucky enough, come back at 4 o'clock in the morning the next day. So I did. Pasha showed up at 8 and then he was still not auditioning. And literally I walked into this little, it was so humble at that time. It was just a big space in New York, but small space for auditioning. And I remember I literally did one move at the audition. I just went one opening arms, and then the producer just went, next. I went, what's happening? 2 seconds, and I look at Pasha, and Pasha's sitting in the corner and going like this. I was like, what do you mean? I mean, seriously? I literally just opened my arm. And then, so it was hilarious. I was like, that's it? It was, you know, and my cut, it was like literally, next. And it was, you know, it was Jeff Thacker, one of the British producers. And, you know, and he was like, hey, ballroom couple, can you do something for us? I said, yeah, sure. So he just put some kind of Justin Timberlake song, and we danced about for 10 seconds. He shuts off the music, and he was like, what's going on? We're like, what's happening? What? And he goes, I don't understand. You have the number, but he doesn't. I said, oh yeah, he doesn't want to audition. And then and he started, you know, blackmailing Pasha. Basically said that he not going to get me through if he is not going to come tomorrow to audition in front of the judges. And the rest is history. So.
Wow, it just shows you, like, you know, things like that do happen, which is, I am a firm believer in fate and things happening for the right reason. You know, if there wasn't traffic, you wouldn't have stopped in the cab. You wouldn't have seen the line. Would you gone? We wouldn't be talking now. It's loads. It's so, you know, things happen again. Like Pasha, you know, must have moments. You can hold that over him for a long time. You know.
I have.
Yeah. No.
I have, yes. He also didn't want to be. He also didn't want to do Burn the Floor to be on Broadway. So
No.
he was like, I just don't know. I just moved out from New York, and he go because we lived we lived in New York, and then obviously after So You Think He Dance, we it's the first time us visiting with the beautiful weather and all shebang of Hollywood
Yeah.
signs and and sunshine, and of course you just think, okay, well, why not? And we moved from New York 10 something years, and
Yeah.
then I said to him, let's go back to New York and Broadway.
Do you think like you obviously when you have a partnership as a dancer, and I found this as well. I've got I run a dance troupe. I say it's a troupe. People come in and out and whatnot, and I found myself that there are certain girls I've danced with, and there's a connection, and it's a connection no one else, unless you dance, you don't understand it. People automatically think, oh, I mean, they'd be barking up the wrong tree with me. But there's this, you have that connection with someone. And do you think you found that with like Pasha, that you could see that you both had something special as a dance partnership, that maybe, and something within him that you could see that he couldn't, but look, this could be something really good,
Yeah, I think just because we've danced together for nearly 19 years,
long time, yeah.
just a few years, I just
Yeah.
think it's as far as I can remember, I think guidance is very important,
Yeah.
to have that guidance, but also like because partnership and dance partnership is relationship. So I think that understanding, basically, being on the same page is very important. Even though he wasn't on the same page with So You Think You Can Dance, but he was willing to be there for the partner, because that's how, in my world, I mean, in our world, ballroom world, that's we always kind of coexist with the partners.
Yeah.
Even on the dance floor, your balance affects the other person's balance. So
Yeah.
it's important. So yeah, I mean, it's a great point, and it's very interesting. I actually have never had anybody asking me this question before. I think you develop this trust, and I think that was the most beautiful thing about So You Think You Can Dance. It's funny because every dancer, they respected so much other genres, like contemporary and hip hop, but ballroom was kind of something that's like untouchable thing,
Yes.
because they were like always making fun of us doing bachacadas and stuff, because everybody loved a little shimmy.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, when you actually do the live shows, everyone is thriving. You want to see that chemistry, and that was the hardest part. And for me personally, was the easiest part to communicate with a partner, just because I've been doing this kind of all my life. So it's, you have a bad day, you have a good day. You kind of learn how to create chemistry.
Yeah, and you go through it together, which is nice. There was a dance I saw you do. It was on YouTube, and it was so clever. It was you, Pasha, and was it Christina? And it was like a 3-part dance where he rotated between, and it's like that must have been so incredibly hard, because you're so used to a certain way that you dance with 2 people, and to then have like the third come in and try and flip between 2 people, and that I thought was.
Well, the definition of a third wheel, like, yeah, you do feel like a third wheel. Like you're like that extra person that you just try to fit in, but you just can't quite. But yeah, it was choreographed by Jason Gilkison. Yeah, one of my favorite people, and he is an amazing. He's actually the creative director for Strictly Come Dancing at the moment. But he was he was a choreographer for So You Think You Can Dance, and he did opening. Yeah, so it was his idea. I blame it on him. I was like, "What are you doing?" So it's 3 people. But yeah, it was 3 people.
The rule book went out the window, which I thought was brilliant. I like things that you go, we've not seen this before, this hasn't been done before, and it was something different. So you did say you think you've danced, and I know you've done the Dancing with the Stars. Obviously, then you then just came, I say, to England to do what was that like?
Well, yeah, I think it was about a year to maybe 2 years apart, actually. But yeah, we started out after we did a Broadway. We went on a world tour, like 50 cities all over the world. It was amazing. And and after that, we ended up on the West End, closing on the West End. And I think I went home, and I was really tired, and I was just trying a little bit rethinking my journey. I've always wanted to act, and I remember teaching for 10, 11 hours and dance Times Square in New York, and then going to running off like at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning to the Lee Strasberg Institute for the classes, acting classes. So, and then at that time, I think I booked a film, which was Rock of Ages, and Adam Shankman. So I auditioned for the film. I didn't have an agent, but somebody just sent me something. I did like a little tape and I sent it out. And then 2 months later, I was in the airport and they called me and they said, "Oh, we'll let you know, we're calling from Miami and you got the part." And I said, "What part?" I had no idea. And it was like from a movie scene. They said, "Oh, you booked the part of Destiny, for Rock of Ages, the film." I was just screamed, like people literally were like, you know, because it was such a happy moment for me, because I had no idea. That you know, it could be possible. But it seems like in my life it's like walking out of the cab at the right time, being at the airport, and somehow I did get the part. But
I think that's what's lovely is as well, you've done the different things. I mean, with obviously like Strictly Come Dancing, I mean, I don't think anybody, I remember obviously when it first came onto the TV, and it was a time of like pop stars and X Factor and BGT, and then, you know, The Voice and Strictly, and there's always been this competition. And now, I mean, I think Strictly Come Dancing has done amazing things for dance, because I think it's encouraged a lot of people to see it differently as well, that it isn't just, you know, I hate to say, like, you know, old people in the park kind of, you know, it's, you know, it's also, and it's hard. It's, you know, it's your life. I mean, we could talk about it all day, but what was your, you know, your overall experience of, you know, going into Strictly and coming out of it? Was it what you expected? Was it completely different?
Well, yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, at that point, I think Pasha and I, we didn't dance for about 2 years, because he really wanted to come to London when I was pursuing the film and acting and stuff like that. So he really wanted to come to London. It's you know, I think being a ballroom dancer, it's kind of on your bucket list, and that this kind of show. But I think just to say a few words about Strictly, yes, I really do think that it brought a whole different, like, Dancing with the Stars in the US as well. So it's you know, if 11 years ago, 12 years ago, I would be saying that, oh, I'm a ballroom dancer, and people would be walking and be like, how, ballet, you know? And now you say to them, oh, I'm a ballroom dancer, and like, ooh, is it cha-cha, is it salsa? And then it's like they already know the count. So that's a beautiful thing. It, like you said, it brought back that Fred and Ginger, the whole, you know, Gene Kelly. So it's a whole different it's an amazing platform, of course, for dancers and obviously celebrities to challenge themselves. I think another great point of Strictly Come Dancing is everybody loves to see the growth. Everybody loves to see the journey, the underdog, right? That is like never danced before, and all of a sudden it goes from 0 to 100. And I really think that, you know, my experience was everything and more. I think I was very lucky to dance with Patrick Robinson. I mean, to be honest with you, I thought we were going to be eliminated, you know, way before, you know, and all of a sudden I'm the only girl standing in the semifinal. So it was
amazing.
It was really, but thanks to the audience, you know, obviously. And it was a journey. He fractured his hand, and then we had to do salsa with one hand. 30 minutes before the live show, we had to choreograph the whole salsa. It was fun, very stressful fun, but it was fun.
And you, I don't think many people know this, but you, correct me if I'm wrong, you have to, I think people think that you and, you know, whoever you're with, they, you know, you have a choreographer come in that teaches you you do it, don't you? Do everything, like the choreography, and you have to.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, at this point, I think the show is obviously so successful because it's a machine, right? It's a well-oiled machine, and it has to be in order to work consistently. And at this point, I think they do have a lot more help, you know, this advice if you're on a piece of music that you want to do. And I think now it's a little bit more thought through. I mean, I think in the past we did have a little bit more freedom of like, I just want to do this song because I love it. And now it has to be in the correlation of the theme of the thing, which is also great. But I think, yeah, it has helped, and they have wonderful. Yeah. Yes. And I remember, you know, now we allowed, you know, the dancers are allowed to say thank you to the choreographers who are actually choreographing out of the genres like hip hop, decamino, contemporary. But sometimes, you know, the professionals are not, you know, some, if they want to, they can take the challenge on. But because the pace is so quick, the turnaround of the dance, most of the people take the help.
And Blackpool, it's in Blackpool. You can't not go to Blackpool. Do you know what I mean?
Oh my goodness, Blackpool was amazing. Even though for me it was crazy. For the first time ever, I had my heel got stuck during the dance. It was probably one of the best sambas, well, I think, anyways. And because Patrick Robinson, he's, you know, he was in his 50s, and I mean, we were supposed to, I think, have 4 tans, but because my foot got stuck because the boa, they forgot to cut the boa between the rehearsals. Basically, I thought the boa was cut. It was just, and I was like hopping there. I was like, not in Blackpool. Why? But yeah, it was great.
It's a memory. Does you talk about obviously the acting? Do you think it, like like myself, I'm, you know, if people say singing, dance, and acting, like the 3, you know, that if you were going to put them in like 3 boxes, and I, at the top of my love, where my heart is and what I love is singing, believe it or not, and then it's the dance, and then acting probably. But with the way things have kind of gone with me, I've ended up teaching. I've opened up like a little school, but I know, however many dance shows I've done or productions, my love and the butterflies, the nerves, that kind of cherry on top is for me the singing. With you, did you know, was yours dance and you kind of knew also you wanted to act, or was it a progressional thing where the acting, you thought, you know what, actually, I love dancing, but I want to act more?
I think, yeah, I think it was 2 in 1, just because I really think they help each other so much to develop your characters, to understand yourself in depth. Because especially with ballroom dancing, you kind of, like I said, you go and you have to move as one with another person. And the older I got, I basically was having a hard time to understand what is my style on my own. And I think that's why SYTYCD Dance was so a huge turning point for me, because I know we were separated in the sense of like Pasha was dancing with somebody else, and I was dancing with a ballet dancer. And basically, yes, I think you have to know where your passion lies. I think for me, it kind of goes 2 in 1, because I really think how they can benefit each other, and they always have, in order to tell stories. Especially Pasha, we've done, for 5 years we've done theater, and that was tremendous help, because in theater you have to, there's that invisible, you know, connection and string between the audience and yourself, and you can't do that without having that imagination. And for me personally, it really benefited and helped. So yeah,
I do think it helps as well when I say to students and things that there's some people I've seen, and when I've held auditions for different jobs, and I see girls and guys that come in, and they are fantastic dancers, absolutely amazing. You know, they know the steps, they know the choreography, they hit every beat on time, but they have absolutely zero passion. It's like, you're this character, you know, can you understand the music? Can you understand the song? Can you understand the genre? Can you understand the steps that you're making? And I do say a lot of the time as well, to act while you're dancing, to remember the character that you're in. And I suppose for yourself, you know, that's worked well for you, going into obviously Rock of Ages and, you know, Broadway music from doing that.
You know, it's so true, because, you know, actually, if we're talking about in depth about dance, I think Strictly Come Dancing, I think one of the phrases that people walking away with is celebs. They, especially some of them, are just immerse themselves in that bubble, right? For them, it's really hard to remove themselves, because it is such a transformational journey. And the reason why, because dance is the only art form, I believe, and I feel it, and I know it in my point of view, that you are truly being you can't hide behind anything.
So vulnerable, it's vulnerability. You can't.
Absolutely. So I always say, to my students that, you know, when I teach women, well, nowadays, so I help them to connect to their body and through breath and dance movement. And so I always say to them, you kind of have to dance for me so I can see where you are in your life. And most of the time that's what happens, because you can just see right away where you know, it's just in the movement you can see a lot of things. And I think that's why people programs like Strictly Come Dancing is so transformative, because you're putting yourself to the extreme and you literally just shedding layers of you know, whatever it is, insecurity, shyness, you know, not being able to remember choreography, and of course a pressure to be in front of millions of people.
Because it's, you know, you go wrong on that kind of program the next day. Well, they'll say the next day, it used to be the next day and then it'd be in the paper, but something that happens on TV and within a minute it's on Facebook. You know, it just takes someone to record it. But well, obviously I want to talk about, so Rise Up with the Arts. First of all, I make, like, hats off to you and Pasha for doing this. And you know, I think everybody is feeling emotional, the brunt of it, hurt. I think a few people are feeling very almost vulnerable, and personally I feel like a bit left out from with what's happened, forgotten almost, that the entertainment industry has just been, it's a oh well, you'll be fine. And there's some people are not going to be fine with this. Some people are already, you know, they've lost their businesses, they've lost, you know, their opportunities, their contracts. And seeing something like this, when Rise Up with the Arts, I don't know who it is I'm talking to on the actual Instagram message, but they were
it's my other half.
Is it? Oh, there you go.
He's managing. We're wearing so many hats.
Oh no, that's what it was when he said, I'd you know, if there's anything you can, which is the reason I'm doing this, it's something just to keep me ticking on and something to try something new and find out what everyone else is feeling. So when I saw this Rise Up with the Arts, I've had a look at it. I got my ticket today. So,
oh wow, thank you.
Yeah, so I will be there. I'll be watching.
Front row, Jay.
Front row with my Malibu and Coke.
Oh, there you go. Where's my drink? I just have a collagen drink right here.
So do you want to tell? Obviously, I know it's fun, but do you want to tell everybody what it is?
Rise Up, yes, of course. And Rise Up with the Arts, it just came about on somewhere late December, early January. I just woke up one day and I just thought, you know what, I've danced all my life. I haven't done anything else. And we were almost a year in since the craziness happened and our world changed. And I had this idea of why not to give a platform to, at first, of course, it was on a smaller scale, but I just thought, why not to give a platform to my friends, people that I don't know, but something to look forward to. And I knew that I have friends who are currently have the contract in Moulin Rouge, but because everything is shut down, they literally, even, you know, they teaching singing classes, which is great, but at the same time they don't know when they're coming back and to you know, to have, I mean, back to work. And so I started really slowly, and of course when I go to friends of, you know, a long-time dance partner, and I said, Pasha, I think it would be really, really great. And slowly but surely it became this beautiful monster, and in the sense of it just, you know, and then at first we called it Rise Up with Dance, but then it just was so much more than dance. And then Pasha and I, we knew from day one we didn't want it to be just Anya and Pasha show, so we were actually, it's time to give back. So I said, listen, why don't we just, you know, put our hats together and just hats and heads, whatever, everything together. And I said, let's see who can we you know, get on the show, just to be able to inspire and give focus to the artists, but also how can we give back. And that's when we've got the Theatre Support Fund. They jumped on board in the UK under the Actors Fund in the US.
Actors Fund.
And the Actors Fund in the US, they literally, it's a whole umbrella. It's just not actors, it's everyone. It's people who've been affected across the industry, the people who are selling tickets in front of the theater, you know what I mean, and then at the backstage. So they've been creating the safety net for all performers basically across the industry. And and then of course it was very fitting, the World Theater Day, and I think 80% of people did know that the World Theater Day is on March 27th. I did know, but and
I didn't either. Sorry.
Like, did you know? but no, I didn't know, but I have a very good people around me, and they were like, you know what, why are you doing a show on the 22nd of March? You should do it on the 27th. I'm like, what's on the 27th? It's like the World Theater Day. I was like, oh my goodness, this is perfect. And I think everybody should know the World Theater Day from now on, because it's a variety. Rise Up with Arts is a variety show, global variety show. We're gonna take you to Australia, New York, LA, France, you know, you name it, we're gonna take you there. But then basically we're gonna bring you back to London. And yes, we're interviewing legends, honestly, from the screenwriters, producers to Royal Ballet. You have people from So You Think You Dance, Strictly Come Dancing. So you've got, you know, it's going to be incredible just to be able to hear. It is hopefully an inspirational show. So we want to uplift the artist, and we want to obviously uplift the audience as well.
And I've seen, like, I mean, there's Lisa Riley, Duncan James, Kerry Ellis, John Logan, Kevin Clifton, Patricia Kelly-Jean, who is Gene Kelly's wife.
Yes, yes.
So very side note, have you ever seen a film called Xanadu with Olivia Newton-John? I
haven't, actually.
You're right. It's one of the last things Gene Kelly did, and he dances in it with Olivia Newton-John, and that's actually inspired me to dance. And last year, again, I think a lot of artists are sat at home, bored. I think they've also had enough. And I wrote to Olivia Newton-John, and she wrote back. so that made my COVID a lot happier. That was my thing. But
see, I love these stories. I think that's incredible when people can. I've been facing a lot of things, but this show taught me so much. And it's so funny. I actually did an interview just recently, and they said, oh well, what did it teach you? And I said, you know, I think I'm naturally a little bit on the shy side, but it just taught me just to go and ask, because the worst thing is going to happen is just that people are going to say no to you. I'm like, yeah, fine. It's no, that's fine. I can, you know, then I can do plan B. Yeah. So,
you've auditioned. You know, rejection sometimes, you know.
No, but I love that. I love what you said, and I think it's a beautiful thing when people reply. And that's why the Rise Up with Arts came about, because it's basically uniting us all. And that was my whole idea, that it doesn't matter if you're an A-lister or if you're just starting out in acting, if you're in musical theater. The show was created so somebody can be discovered, rediscovered. I know you had Lali, Anna Cumbly.
Well, this is what I was just going to say. I sat down and I wrote a list, and I said to my other half, I was like, you know what, I'd like to interview a few different people. I said, you know, one of my friends, you know, she's a female bodybuilder, Vicky, I think she's watching. One of my friends who's he went from England to Australia in his camper van gigging. And I went through a list of people I listened to growing up, and I was like, Lolly, it was an album. I was like, do you know what, I'll message her, I'll see what happens, you know. And it was like, Anna got back, and she was like, definitely. And it's been really humbling as well to feel, you know, the people that do say,
hi Lolly, she's there.
There she is.
She's sending you rainbows all the time. She's sending you rainbows.
Just, you know, just
Lolly, your ears were burning.
She you know, Lolly and like yourself, people that have just gone, speaking to Selena tomorrow from the Honeys, and again she's like, yeah, of course I'll chat to you. And it's the help as well, people forwarding on from that. And it was like Lolly that said, why don't you talk to Rise Up, and it's that connections which makes my little home just feel a lot more like, do you know what, I've got something to look forward to, I can do some research, I can, you know. So, and I was going to say, you've also got the amazing, which was announced, Brian May.
Oh, just a little name.
Like musical royalty right there. Like,
yes, I wish I would have recorded my reaction when I found out, because I was trying to do this like fake reaction on my story, but I was like, it doesn't do it justice. No. Yeah, it has been.
Wow.
You just go, is it? But not one, but two songs.
Yeah.
And they're releasing the new songs, so you just
And again, it's almost like, which is really lovely, the fact that you're like, oh my God, you know, it's you know, fangirl for you almost as well, that you know, someone like him wants to be a part of it. And he probably knows this, it will help him in the long run, and Kerry and everyone, and it all eventually it's helping heal some of the wounds that the government have failed to do.
Yes, no, but it's so funny you saying that. Yeah, it was definitely, it's very humbling, absolutely, because just, you know, obviously it's amazing to have a person like Brian May because supporting the artist, but
Yes.
of course it's also amazing to have people who are just should be on the West End and the Broadway, in my opinion, and we're giving them a chance, you know, and they're gonna come and sing as well because they're just absolutely incredible. And that's why I think that, you know, coming back to Anna, because she was so, you know, it's like amazing singer, it was like, you know, in the 90s pop star, and then
amazing.
also incredible in hosting, just her personality. Our first meeting when we did it, her energy just jumps at you and you just think, I want to talk to this girl.
Yeah, you're the one I want.
yeah.
Which is it's nice, and it is a sense of which I'm a firm believer in. It's like a club. I always say this to some of my students, and when I'm dancing, the performing arts, you know, yes, it can be bitchy. Yes, it can be hoping that someone slips over and you get their part. Yes, it can be you hope someone loses their voice the day before the show. But there's this sense of like a club that you are, you know, more now than ever, that you're part of this community, that we look out for each other, and actually we're all suffering in some way or another. And things like this are, I think, so important. And I really hope, and I think in my heart, I know that when this horrendous, crappy, whatever it is over, people are going to go, do you know what? We do need to support the theatre. We do need to support the people that help the theatre. Not just talk about the singers and the dancers and the actors, but the stage, you know, directors, the lorry drivers that carry the set, you know,
Jay, it takes a village. It takes a village to do a show. Just one show. It's you know, I mean, it's never what we see obviously in front of us on stage. It's always people that behind, and people who supports, people who giving you mic on time, so you can actually, I don't even know I'm saying mic, I'm not even a singer, but maybe dressing you on time, you know, I was you know, who's dressing you on time so you can actually come out and you know, and actually be dressed for a number. But yeah, it's all of it, that it's never just, you know, it takes a team, it takes a team to do anything. And I think you're absolutely right. Just hope that people, we can, you know, because we are creatures of habit, I think, as human beings. And I feel, you know, it's been too long for people to get used to Netflix, television, you know, and people do that. And you know, and I think some people be like, oh no, this is great, that could work, you know. And but
Anna's just written, rise up with the arts club, let's tour. As long as I can join, I'll make the sandwiches.
Absolutely, let's do it. Well, wait a minute, you said singing is your passion. You're in, honey, you're in.
Oh,
if you can sing, you're on stage.
Wherever. I'm in the car park, babe. Right, I do have some questions for you from some of the students, because I know you haven't got a load of time. So, so questions from some people. So Assar16 says, hey Anya, who picks the costumes on Strictly? I suppose because with the dance styles, do you have to obviously take that into consideration? Who picks the costumes?
Well, actually, the whole team, the costume department, Vicky, yeah, she's actually it starts. Costumes are the first thing that when you join the show, you get you get measured straight away, and they're basically looking at you. And I don't think you have a lot of choices of, you know, saying this is the dress that I want, but you just have the trust that these people just know what they're doing, and they do know. And I actually have to say, DSI, they are sponsoring Rise Up with Art. I mean, they just have the most amazing, they just know what they're doing. It's not just pretty, it's not just pretty, but it's actually really comfortable. You can wear it all day long, and obviously
the last thing you need to worry about is something falling off, or you know, something snagging, you know. So
no, except just maybe cutting the bow off. Maybe that would be good for me to know. I don't just, but other than that, no, they are honestly the best of the best, and not just for the ballroom world, but actually they've changed the whole thing strictly.
What is your favorite and least favorite dance style, personally?
Style, okay, I don't know. I mean, I'm just probably, my least favorite is probably that I'm not really good at. I would say I was like popping or something, but I do enjoy contemporary a lot. So I do find a lot of comfort of taking my shoes off and actually connect slightly more to the floor, as opposed to being in heels my whole life. So I think my favorite is a little bit more of an lyrical side, and my least favorite is just, I don't have one, but maybe something that I'm really crap at. Like
fine.
Yeah.
XXX Chelsea _03 says, do you enjoy dance movies? If so, what is your favorite?
You know what? Dance movies. Yes, I do. I think the dance movies that we had in the past, coming like even like Sing in the Rain, you know what I mean? Gene Kelly. Oh my goodness. It just
Debbie Reynolds.
respect.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, and not just to sound clever, but I mean, I talking to Patricia Kelly, I mean, she explained, you know, just wait, you guys, just wait. It's incredible. Like what she said about Gene Kelly. It's just he is a comet, and we couldn't find anybody who would give him a tribute or justice to this day, however many years later, and people are still even really hesitant of taking on that task, and I understand why. And so I think Singing in the Rain is one of my favorites. And of course, Dirty Dancing, just because I think it has all the, again, it's a journey, right? They're going from the underdog of the girl that, you know, don't know how to dance. So I love it. I've been there, and I think, yeah, it's just the movies of my childhood. So maybe Singing in the Rain was really early, but I love it anyway.
Oh, I love it. And I think so. The choreography they do with the, I can't remember what the song's called, on the chair, when they're on the sofa. And they're
well, hold on one second. What is it? Hold on one second.
What it was called?
Is it? It's not Good Morning. It's Good Morning. Yeah, it's with is it with Debbie, right? With Debbie.
Debbie Reynolds, Jim
Kelly.
they're all together.
Oh, you're putting me on the spot. Yes, yes.
Right. So
next one. Next. I'm gonna like next question.
Two more. It says from Ryan Sparrow. This is my boyfriend.
Oh, I think Lucas wants Lucas. I think he's been a fan for so long. Hi, Lucas. It is just so good to see you here. I just saw it. I saw your name. He says if he can ask a question on here.
Of course you can, mate. Go for it. Yeah. Just type it in the comments. I don't know if you can do it on here. Let's see. Yeah, you can shove it in the questions, mate. My boyfriend, who's a hairdresser, says, "How much hairspray have you gone through in your career?"
Well, I think a lot, because I actually, I thank goodness I stopped using, because after doing 100, and I think that was a year when I did 108 shows a year, going from my with Robin to Keep Dancing. I literally lost literally half of my hair, and I'm still trying to rebuild it, because I was like curling away, and you think you ain't doing any damage, but you're doing a lot of damage, especially 8 shows a week. So yeah, but it's still recovering. So a lot, honey, a lot. It was a lot of hairspray.
Just loads of conditioner, you're fine. And I've got one. My question for you was, because I've always been intrigued with this. I've not actually written the question, but I know what I meant. How do you, when you do the performances on So You Think You Can Dance and Strictly and things like that, and the cameramen are there obviously within the choreography, how does that work? Do they have to see the choreography? And because surely it can't just be a mission, because sometimes you see the camera go past you, and I'm like, you must be like so close. I know there's zooms and things like that, but how does that work with the camera techniques and the choreography?
Well, yes, you do have a director's take. So for most of the things, the directors do get the choreography about 2 days before. And so you basically say to them your ideal angles, because it's your choreography. So you normally go, this is a reveal of my costume. This is where I want to be, you know, at, and I have a platform, and this is it, or you want to use the stairs. So you kind of have to be very clear. So you have a full-on conversation with the director. You're going, hi, you know, so this is Foxtrot, and we're dancing on the stairs. We're starting here. So you have this director's tape, and then obviously, you know, if and then it gets adjusted basically, and then you have a press run, and there are things that do go wrong, but basically most of the time you kind of know which camera, or you try to know which camera to look at.
And again, it's another side of the performing arts sector that, you know, people are just watching you, but they forget there is some poor guy, you know, trying to make sure that it doesn't get you know, a heel, or, you know, in the lens.
Absolutely.
So why don't we do at the end of like the chat, I'll do a this or that. So there's 10 questions in it. You've got to pick one or the other. You ready?
Oh, yes.
So this is the this or that. So are you ready? So it's USA or UK? UK. You're just saying that. I'm sure I was American.
Well, no, actually, don't. My family is here. They have my dog, everything. Yeah, UK.
Yeah. The Jive or Charleston?
Charleston.
Yeah. Slick and sexy outfit or elegant and flowy?
Elegant and flowy.
Push
Because
up.
I can make that slick
You
and
can.
sexy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'll work whatever.
I'll
Give me
work
a
with that elegant.
push-ups or planks?
Push-ups.
Yeah. Barefoot or shoes?
Barefoot.
So I'm the opposite. I hate dancing in bare feet. I don't just because it's more street dance, but I just find I find it weird.
It's so funny. I'm the only one. I think I'm the only one. People. I am gonna do something in a beautiful number with Robin Windsor from Strictly. It's called 1,000 Years on Rise Up with Arts, and I love dancing barefoot. And people just go like, "Oh, good luck with that. Where are you dancing barefoot?" But I just.
That's what happened. Classical or contemporary?
Contemporary.
Chicago or Wicked?
Ooh, Chicago.
Yeah.
It was a tough one. Ugh,
Yeah.
I don't know, but whatever came out, yes.
These are the last three. So Strictly Come Dancing. So you think you can dance?
You think you can dance?
Pretty. A glass of red or a glass of white?
Ooh, glass of red for sure.
And the last thing is just a generic question. What is one thing, if anything, you would change if you had to start your career all over again?
Nothing.
That's an amazing answer. That's the answer I wanted.
Nothing.
Good,
yes,
I
wouldn't change it.
Absolutely phenomenal. And I wish you all the luck. So, people, so it's 27th of March, World Theatre Day, 7:30. And correct me if I'm wrong, if people get tickets to this, they can also watch it. If they can't see it at 7:30, they can watch it. Is it up to like 48 hours later?
Yeah, it's just 7:30 after we're gonna go, broadcast live. So basically, then people can watch it at any time. If they want to tune in 20 minutes later, 30 minutes later, 2 hours later, all over the world, they can watch it at any time. That's convenient for them.
Well, look, thank you so much for chatting to me, and I wish you all the luck. Break a leg. I'll be watching, and it's been amazing to talk to you.
Thank you so much, Jay. Honestly, and good luck to you. Thank you for having me on. It's been so much fun, too much fun. And then also good luck with all of your dances. And I hope, I wish you all the luck because I know how tough it is to have a school and the circumstances in times like this. So absolutely, I think massive luck to you.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, thanks everyone.
And guys, tune in. It's going to be an amazing show. Rise Up with Arts is going to be an amazing show.
Yeah. Well, I'll be watching. Take care, stay safe, and have an amazing weekend as well.
Thank you, sweetheart. Yes, you as well.
Take care, lovely. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.